rakes, stakes, and sod. It takes planning, time, and a bit of muscle to create a great yard.
Just kick it out.
We can throw it in here, can't we?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just kick it this way.
Okay.
The pros at Classic Landscape Center are landscaping this lot in Creekwood, Chappelle. If you're a new homeowner, before you can bring out your yard tools, you must have something called a rough grade certificate.
Rough grade is the clay that usually the builder will take care of and have graded out, and then we have
The certificate typically comes in the mail and looks like this. It means your property has been inspected and the grading or surface condition of your lot has been approved. It's how the city ensures your land will properly drain in accordance with bylaws. But the approval process doesn't end there. Final grade is up to you.
So what they'll have to do is, after the dirt is spread, we'll have to hire a land surveyor to come out, and they'll actually produce what's called the grading certificate. They'll submit a couple copies to the City of Edmonton. The city will send out a City of Edmonton lot grading inspector, and they'll look over the lot grading certificate that they were given and do a visual inspection of the property just to make sure all the slopes and grades are away from the house, there's no low spots that could collect water, and then they'll give the final sign-off, or final grade approval we call it, for your property, and then you can move on from there.
Before we move to the next step, a word about stakes. They're important because they mark the level at which the soil should be spread. If they are pulled out or knocked over, you'll have to pay a surveyor hundreds of dollars to come out and replace them.
Yeah, well, obviously green side up is always a great start.
In addition to the obvious, Stothart says the keys to sod are: lay it when it's fresh, use a good sod starting fertilizer on the soil, and make sure you offset the seams.
It's kind of like a brickwork pattern. If you're doing a brick on the side of your house, or a tile floor or a hardwood floor, you don't want the seams to run in one straight line. The idea with sod is because those seams will dry out. It'll be tough to get the sod to take. And so if you offset it with a brickwork pattern, you cut off 6 inches off that first roll of sod, and then maybe a foot off the next, and then 18 inches off the next roll, you can get that stair pattern started and then really be on your way to doing a great job with your sod.
To ensure a great job, you'll need water, lots of water. Classic uses the 3-week rule.
Every day the first week, every second day the second week, and every third day the third week for new sod.
Whether you're professional landscapers or doing it yourself, the same principles apply in tree planting. Stothart says the most common mistake is depth.
You don't want to plant it too deep or too high. If you plant it too deep, a lot of times people will just add maybe 4 inches of dirt and make it look pretty, but you can actually suffocate the roots, because it is important for oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange with the roots and the overall health of the plant. So you might do that and your tree will look great for a year, but a year or two down the road it'll just start to fade, and all of a sudden it'll die and you won't know why, and that'll be the reason, because you planted it too deep.
The same goes for shrubs, and you'll want to add some transplant fertilizer. Stothart says you'll need to support your larger trees with stakes, 2 of them if they're more than 6 feet high. But how do you know where to put them?
And you're going to put them on the side of the tree for prevailing winds, which in our area is going to be the northwest and southeast side of the tree. You're going to leave those tree stakes in with a wire and a nice vinyl tubing, or maybe even garden hose wrapped around the trunk of the tree to prevent any scarring, and leave those in for about a year.
After that year, the roots will be able to support the tree against those winds. And as with sod, water your trees and shrubs daily to start, but be careful not to drown them. One trick is to build a berm around the base of the tree, fill it with water, and let it drain. From grading to sodding to tree planting, your hard work and patience will be rewarded with an awesome yard that you'll enjoy for years to come.